Why is the Swordmaster like this? I can't take this man seriously. And the unsettling thing is, he's a freaking goofball who, honest to God, believes he's doing nothing wrong. I've known you since you were about this big. I bought your bib. Stop. Stop. I can completely understand why Akamura and Kunishige were best buds. You find someone who gets your sense of humor, it's a done deal after that. And seeing a change of pace from the personality of your typical final boss antagonist is so refreshing. Sure, some big bads have inflated egos that can come off as funny, but Akamura Soga is funny. In fact, he'll lull you into a false sense of security. I wanted to keep hearing him talk, but this motherfucker crossed the line when he put Hakuri on his hit list. You do not harm one hair on Hakuri's head. He's my protagonist. I'm putting my stocks in him. I switched up real quick. Thank you, Swordmaster, for reminding me that you're public enemy number one. But more on this later. If you're new or a returning viewer to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Please hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate y'all. Previously on Kagurabachi, we learned that there's a dress code when you wield the greatest masterpiece on God's green earth, the Shinuchi. And I put so much emphasis on the Uchi part because I've been pronouncing it as the Shinuichi ever since I read the name. My apologies if I was making you cringe my last couple videos. Anyways, angry Japanese salary businessman attire is not it, fam. Put some respect on the Magatsumi and its history. What else happened? Oh yeah, the freaking Swordmaster is on the loose. We're doomed. Did you see what happened to Samura? Akamura wholeheartedly believes he's the main protagonist. This is his world. They're all just living in it. Now, the chapter begins with a flashback of Chihiro's natural curiosity to wonder what the Swordmaster is like. I mean, we know that he already knows about the other sword bearers, but Kunishige, well, it's a touchy subject for him. He'd rather not talk about it, and Chihiro picked up on that. We've really never seen this side of Kunishige. There's his Tenrin side, his goofball but lovable dad side, his Uncle Ben with great power comes great responsibility side. But we've never seen him so glum. Why so glum, chum? Now, it's one thing when you find out the person you entrusted the most with the burden of your creation turns out to be a mass genocidal murderer, but it's another thing when this person happens to be family, specifically your brother-in-law. Do they not have a word for that in Japanese? In-laws. I am so curious about the role Chihiro's mother played during the Seitei War. Was Akamura's older sister killed by the Shokoku intentionally, or was she collateral damage? And that's why Akamura massacred the Shokoku. Ooh, and that could be why he was so fond of Yura. He saw himself in Yura and his path for vengeance after what happened to his wife. Or his sister tried to stop him, Akamura, and Kunishige tried to stop her from getting near Akamura, and something terrible must have happened to her, and Kunishige blames himself for letting this happen. Hanizono, please don't pull a Gege Akutami and not give us a Seitei War flashback when we so desperately were waiting for a Heian era flashback. Returning to where the last chapter ended off, we see Shiba exhausted from evacuating everyone in that area of the city. Well, I hope he was able to get everybody out, because this would be a bad time to take a break, brother. Then we get a touching reunion between uncle and nephew. Akamura says the line you've heard from your aunts, uncles, and grandparents at least once. I've known you since you were about this big. And notice how he sheathes his sword and holds it underneath his armpits so casually, as if it's not the most powerful enchanted blade to exist. I mean, his guard is completely down, but he's a hand talker, and he doesn't perceive Chihiro as a threat, so he can relax a bit, I guess. Next, Akamura finally gets his answer on why the enchanted blades were sealed away, and to no surprise to anyone, he's like, wait a minute, that's what your father taught you? I killed our enemies. How is that wrong? Man, woman, or child, if they have Shikoku blood coursing through their veins, I'm eliminating the problem before there becomes one. Man's over here is beginning to sound a lot like Peacemaker.
Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
They call you Peacemaker?
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
And funny enough, he tries to act like the Buddhist of wisdom and be like, well, it's only natural that people have a difference of opinion on the matter. Difference of opinion? Bro, I'd argue the large majority of citizens would disagree with your actions. Remember back in chapter 73 during the Iori flashback when Yura spreaded rumors and false evidence in the city Mr. Samura lived in about the treaty and the ethnic cleansing perpetrated by the Swordmaster, along with a forged photo of the signing of the treaty. This led to the persistent harassment on Mr. Samura and his daughter, Iori, that little cutie pie that must be protected at all times. So yeah, I'd say the large majority disagree with the malediction because they victimized the first sword bearer they could find in addition to his child. I can't imagine how well Japanese citizens are going to receive the news that the Swordmaster has returned. Public opinion will be divisive at the very least. And what then? Is Akamura going to build a nation as a dictator or a liberator? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Probably the most ironic thing in this chapter is Akamura Soga saying the most Chihiro line to ever leave Chihiro's mouth. The Enchanted Blades have a mission: to eradicate evil and protect the vulnerable. Chihiro says the exact same thing in chapter 9. This dude believes in the same crusade Chihiro believes in. This is insane. One belief, two different interpretations of what that means. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Has never felt truer when applied to Akamura. So let's entertain this real quick. If Chihiro somehow defeats Akamura, but he's pushed into a situation where he needs to wield the Shinichi, will the Shinichi influence Chihiro to approach his beliefs and values with the same extremism as Akamura, leading him to kill any threat that could present a problem for him? Ooh, that would be some cold writing right there. Chihiro's inner monologue at this time expresses his disgust and loathing towards his uncle, a mass murderer who talks to Chihiro with such familiarity. This would drive me crazy too, but Chihiro isn't some confused, immature teenager who needs a feeling of belonging. No, he's firm in understanding that Akamura is the enemy. I love a mature MC. But Chihiro is still overwhelmed by the bloodlust he feels from Akamura. He realizes that Akamura sheathed his sword several minutes ago, but his throat still feels cold. Chihiro is terrified that if he moves, he's dead, which must be so unsettling for him and us readers because Akamura's guard is completely down and yet he can still make you feel powerless. Chihiro does snap out of it a bit when Akamura mentions that his friend Hakuri must be killed based solely because of his last name, him being a descendant of the Sazanami clan. No context, no explanations needed, no nothing. Akamura kills first and asks questions later. He is an extremist to the highest degree. You saw it firsthand when he attacked Samura. Zero remorse for attacking someone he went to war with. And speaking of which, our boy Samura is alive, but he's not doing too well. The Suzaku healing powers can't keep up with his new injuries. The Makatsumi continues to prove that it's nothing like the other Enchanted Blades, but this doesn't scare Samura, not even in the slightest. He goes heads up with Akamura anyway, hoping to best him at a short range, quick drawing of the blades, but to no avail. Akamura is freakishly talented with his swordsmanship, not needing to master techniques like the EI style to keep up with other masters of said technique. In fact, he refused to learn EI White Purity style out of spite. The battle is about to get serious. Akamura instinctively tells his nephew to stop fighting back, but Chihiro finally gets his head out of his ass and is now ready to face the man responsible for his father's decision to destroy the Enchanted Blades.